Well, you made it to Friday. It is now 5:30 p.m. Central, and we are in episode 60 of our Friday Fitcast, and we have none other than the two power couple, amazing pro athletes. For those of you who know, I have had message upon message upon message saying, hey, tell me what you're going to talk about. We have Vanessa Cruz Gonzalez and we have Louis Gonzalez. So I want to welcome you two. Can't wait to talk to you and dig in. So first of all, how are y'all?
Doing
Blessed.
great. Very blessed. Thank you for having us on. We're excited to be here with you.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm excited.
Well, we're very excited, and I know that both of you are in prep. Now, I have to ask you before we get started in this introduction phase, have you ever prepped together for a show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many
for
times?
Sure. Oh, just once.
Once. Once was
Just-
enough.
So if you were to kind of rate this one compared to the other ones, how would you say this is? Is it better? Is it about the same? Or is it, oh my gosh, I'm about ready to throw a couple right hooks at you right now?
I think this one's better.
Yeah.
The first one was completely a surprise, so it took us, we didn't know what to expect.
Because we were at the same stage, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Right now, she's in her, going into her peak week. I'm still, quite a ways out, about 13 weeks out. So,
We're at different levels. I can be aggravated and cranky, and he's comforting and loving. And
I'm more understanding.
Oh, you're so sweet, Louis. I know I just want to pinch your cheek, and we're going to have a little fun today.
I gotta just swallow it, man, and be like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, what's cool is you're going to see, for those of you who are joining us on Facebook, you're going to see now that this is going to be shared to also, I've got one more that I'm going to share too. This is really cool. Some of you are watching us on Facebook. Oh, I just realized we can share it on Twitter as well, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to stick with Facebook and we're going to stick with YouTube today. So I first of all want to get a little bit of a background and give everyone an idea of how we met this amazing couple. And this was, back in 2019. We were part of an organization that, I believe was definitely on the rise. And we went down to South Padre and we first got to meet Vanessa. And I was very curious as far as when you walk in the venue and you see a camera crew surrounding and you see just a huge entourage of people. That was Vanessa's entourage. And I know that she was getting interviewed. She had the newspaper there. I mean, I think you had a TV station there. And I'm like, these people are amazing. Something is different about them. And, as I saw you kind of progress through your career, Vanessa, I'll start with your career. And then Louis, I want to kind of dig into yours if you're okay with ladies first.
Yeah.
You first started kind of moving in 2000 and I would say 19 really toward your pro type career and setting yourself up and leveling up. You don't come from a fitness background. What really got you into fitness? Where were you at 15 years ago? How did this play a role in your life getting to the stage in 2019?
I was not into fitness at all. I was a legal assistant working at a law firm, studying my nursing degree. I was 225 pounds, a size 24, not into fitness at all. I didn't like walking. I didn't like running. I didn't like any of it. Luis encouraged me a lot to get into the gym, but it just wasn't of me. It's not what I wanted to do. And when we got pregnant with our son, we almost lost him at 21 weeks when he came early. And I went into a really deep depression. And it was really hard to get out of that. And while we're going through this, our walk with God is getting stronger. And the Lord led me to a fast, a spiritual fast. The first time I ever fasted in my life, I had no idea what I was doing. And I remember telling Luis, it was right on New Year's. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm supposed to fast, but I hear fast in my spirit. And if that means I'm not going to eat and just drink, then I'll do it. The Lord will lead me. And Luis said, okay, I'll support you. Luis helped me figure out how to fast. And literally within 6 months of my life, I got off of all medication. I was on all kinds of medication. I went from walking to running 6 miles a day, from running to joining a CrossFit. When I joined that CrossFit, that person was competing in Olympia as a power lifter. And I remember looking at the screen and telling Luis, I'm going to do that. And here I am, completely chubby, out of shape. And he's just looking at me like, whatever, like that's dedication. I'm like, just watch, I'm going to do it. but it wasn't something that came from here. It's something that came from in here. I didn't understand it then. And when this man came back, I said, how did you do that? Like, what did you study? And he tells me NASM. So that night I logged into NASM. They ended up having a year free interest. I registered. What's supposed to take 2 years to finish, I finished in 6 months. Within 6 months, I did a whole prep. I was on stage, got off stage. God gave me the name for Temple Fit. And I had my first clients as soon as I got off of that stage, and it began.
Wow. Well, there's three F's involved in here. And I think about faith, I think about family, and I think about fitness. And obviously faith is at your highest level. That's your top priority in your life. And knowing how we've gotten the chance to interact whenever we've seen each other, we've gotten the chance to kind of travel around Texas. I've seen you in many different cities. And, coming from an area where, South Texas, my wife is from there, and she was on a lot of medication, and she was struggling with some heart conditions, and she finally just made the decision to say, look, I'm going to focus on getting in shape and take it step by step every day. And, to me, the biggest inspiration is hearing that you just made the decision to do it and you followed through with it, where most people might make the decision and not commit to it, and maybe take those first 3 steps and realize, wow, this is a lot more challenging than I thought. I'm going to go back to my comfortable level. And now you're a pro athlete. You earned your pro card. You're on the world stage. And so I'm going to put a pin in that for a second, because, Louis, I'd like to kind of get an idea, when you were seeing Vanessa going through this, how did that affect you, and how did that inspire you to really kind of take the path that you took?
Well, you mentioned 2 very good things. It affected me and it inspired me for sure. Um, it affected me because I saw Vanessa, how much Vanessa suffered, and I don't want to do a prep. But it also inspired me at the same time. You know what I mean? Because I had always been into lifting ever since I was a kid in junior high. I began lifting weights. I was always athletic. Into sports, basketball, football, track, and so I've always been lifting on and on. So what I was doing at that time, Vanessa was going through her bodybuilding phase, and I was watching her transform, and what she was doing, and I was like, man, this is awesome. You know what I mean? And it inspired me, to start eating right. You know what I mean? To start, getting my meals in and all that stuff. So taking it a little bit more seriously. So that it definitely inspired me, watching her, because I saw how much effort and how much how much transformation she went through. And so, eventually, she would always tell me, she's like, babe, come on, why don't you do a show? Why don't you do a show? I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I see you and you're suffering. I'm like, no,
I love
no,
my
no,
burgers.
I don't want that. I'm like, I'm fine. You know what I mean? I'm good. With my diet right now. But you know what? She was like, "Come on, you work really hard in the gym, and don't you want to see what's underneath?" And I was like, "Okay, you know what? Maybe she's got a point." So then, you know what? The difference is that I took at least a good 4 years, 3 or 4 years of training seriously before I ever did a first show.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's how I built my foundation. Okay, because you got to build the foundation, and as bodybuilding is a marathon, it's not a sprint. A lot of people, they got it backwards. They want to do everything right away, and they lose some weight and they want to get on stage. But honestly, that's not the way to do it, because the judges, they look at muscle maturity, they look at density and all that stuff, and thickness, and all that stuff. It comes with time.
With time.
So, after 4 years, I did my first prep, and I was happy with the result, and then from there, I just kept going.
It's such a great story to hear, because I'm going to embarrass you for a second, Louis. And before I do that, we have a lot of comments coming through. I love embarrassing people, but Catherine Hobaugh, who's going to be competing this year in Houston, she loves the fact that she's hearing these stories, because, just having a baby, being married, and having a family, to juggle all these things, right? It's not easy, but yet it's still doable. And a lot of times we psych ourselves out, and you have managed to do that. And then, of course, hi to my coaches. Miss Marissa Gomez is always tuning in, and we really appreciate you. When I think about this picture coming up, and what's about to come up too, so now you know. When you think about this picture, any guy around who's never competed on stage would kill to look like this. For the ladies, this is the epitome of really what success looks like for you, Vanessa, and how your journey kind of came to fruition. And this was a picture from a few years ago. This wasn't like, anything that was taken recently. So you have made tremendous strides and tremendous improvements since this picture was taken. So I'm kind of
Right.
curious, what keeps you on track? Because I know off seasons can get a little out of control when you're used to being able to eat what you want, and then you kind of go back to strict. How does your off season look? And is it becoming easier for you as you level up and now that you're both pros? So Louis, I'd like to kind of get your feel on this, and then Vanessa, I'd like to get yours.
Honestly, I it's not difficult for me, man. It's not difficult for me. Why? Because I developed that discipline. I developed it into a habit already. You know what I
It's a
mean? And
lifestyle.
I totally transformed my lifestyle. So it's not difficult for me. You know what I mean? And I eat the same exact thing every single day. You know what I mean? And that doesn't affect me. And so I have no problem with off season with during the prep. I really have no problem. I mean, yeah, you have your challenges and everything in there, but you know what? I welcome it. So it's I tried some, like, I am more lenient in the off season. I'm a little bit more lenient with my meals and all that stuff. But I mean, I've tried it to where, like, I try to, like, eat whatever I want for maybe like a whole week. It just doesn't go, man.
Mm-mm.
My stomach ain't feeling it. I feel lethargic and stuff like that. Like, I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. So then I just stick to I'm used to already, And training. I love training, man. I love to be in the gym. This is my spot. You know what I mean? For 1 hour, this is where I just let it loose, and this is where I love. I love chasing the pump. I love pushing myself because I don't train with anybody. This is our gym here. So I don't train with absolutely nobody. I'm here by myself, just me, myself, and my thoughts, and that's it. So I'm the only one here that's pushing myself and training myself and how to do doing the exercises, setting up my program and everything. So I enjoy it, man. I mean, it's good for me. I love it.
Last year, you got to earn your pro card.
Right.
And I know Vanessa was able to be the one to award that pro card to you on stage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Now we're really getting comments in. So, and these are really great comments too. So I'm gonna go back to that moment here in just a second, Louis. Vanessa, when you turn pro first. You've been on pro stages now, and an amateur show and a pro stage is much different when it comes to the level of conditioning, the level of muscularity, symmetry, proportion. Really, those minute and fine details when it comes to a third place to a first, right? Because at the amateur level, it can be pretty clear if they've done their homework, they can get by at maybe 85, 90%. But when you're at the higher level, at a pro level, now you're really fine tuning your body. So you've gotten the chance to, kind of make your adjustments and changes. And I know you're a week out from stepping on stage as a pro again. How has this really changed your attitude, not only toward fitness and nutrition, but how has this helped your family to give them inspiration for your kids?
Well, like Luis was saying, for us, it really is a lifestyle. We live it not only, because we love, the sport and love living the lifestyle, but it literally revolves us. We own a gym. This is what we do with women day in and day out. How do we preach something or teach something without being an actual example of it? And as a pro athlete, the standard goes up really, really high after that. You have to respect having that title, carry yourself in a professional way to carry that title as well. And your image, how you carry yourself, how you talk, walk, eat, everything is part of that image. It all comes together. I roll that over into our children as well. So yes, I'm a pro athlete, but first, I'm a humble athlete, but I'm also a fit mom, a fit wife. What I preach to my women here at Temple Fit, I preach it to my children. Like right now, they're on a 21-day challenge. They cut out sugar-free stuff. They're only getting one cheat meal a week. We're going to vacation, and they're doing it. Our oldest daughter, our 23-year-old, she just had a huge transformation. She lost 75 pounds, went and did a transformation journey. I mean, it's just something that we put into our entire dynamic, as a unit, and doing it as a family is even more important. It just works that way. You know, the kids are watching us. They see how we order. They see what we ask for. You know, my daughter will be like, can I get a Coke Zero? Or can I get a water with lemon? You know, they're just watching us. So I want to say, like, for as far as like being a pro and an amateur, it's just what changed was the importance of the title, of, you know, how important it is to carry yourself in a certain manner, and execute that, not only because of that title, but because of your entire surrounding, like our business, being his wife, you know, the mother to my children, a grandmother. um, I want to be a pro at all those things, and do it well.
You said something that I absolutely love, and you're humble, and that's something that I've always admired about both of you, because Louis, you have made such great strides from the first time I saw you compete to the time that you earned your pro card, you know, a couple of years later. I know, Vanessa, you tried at many different shows, and you know, you've been on our stages, you've been on Scott and Lisa's stage, you know, and I really loved the fact that even though I wasn't there when you earned your pro card, you sent a message, and I was like so touched, because you're like, oh, it was just the best feeling in the world. And that's something that no one can ever take away from you. For those of you who are just joining, we had a pretty large influx of folks who were joining us. We're talking with Vanessa and Louis Gonzalez, both pro athletes, not only an amazing family, but also just a power couple and influence in the fitness industry. And I want to touch on what Maria said. You know, Maria said, my coaches are amazing. Vanessa taught me a healthy eating habit to reverse so many illnesses. And when we think about food as medicine, as opposed to the other way around, and, you know, we're taking medicine and we have to take it with food so it doesn't tear up our stomachs, there can be a lot learned from that. You know, 20 meds down to 2 at this point. And of course, Coach Louie building up the strength after emergency surgery. She is blessed. And I thought I heard this. I'm not sure if it was true. Did y'all say you have a 23-year-old daughter? Did anybody else pick up on that?
We do. We do.
You must know the fountain of youth. Go ahead.
She's had a 75-pound weight loss. She's our oldest baby. She gained a lot of weight through pregnancy, and she was having trouble getting it off. And for a little bit, you know, she was a new mom. She was just struggling on juggling the baby, and trying to get used to that life. And then one day she's just like, Mom, after years when she was still home, like, let me coach you, let me coach you, let me coach you. One day she just called me and she said, Mom, I'm ready. I'm going to let you coach me. I'm like, are you sure? And she went all in, no breaks. You know, even it was transformation. And even for transformation, she's like, Mom, don't treat me any different than what you do on your peak week. I want to go hard. I want to give it my best. And I did. You know, we cut out all her sugars. Like, I treated her like it was a peak week for a transformation. And she did amazing. We are so proud of her. And now she's gone and gotten her certification. She's now coaching people and doing the same thing that she learned through us, which is absolutely amazing. She's touching and transforming lives. You know, she'll like send me pictures like, Mom, look at my client, you know, and I get excited. I'm like, I'm proud of her. Like, I'm watching my daughter help other women transform and love themselves and lead a healthy lifestyle. And that's just amazing that she gets the opportunity to do that just the way I do.
Well, you're getting a lot of comments, and, you know, Catherine Hobaugh, 100%. It's a getaway time, right? As a mom. Now, from what I understand, how many children do you have? We never touched on that.
We have 3. We
And
have Nell's 23, Alyssa's 13, and Adric the Miracle, our baby boy, he's 9.
Yeah.
he's 9. Am I correct in understanding after pregnancy, you're grandparents as well?
Yes. Yeah. Amira's 2 years old.
You guys are the best looking grandparents I've ever seen in my life. So I just have to first of all say that the youngest looking and best looking grandparents. And so think about the 3 generations that are in your family. Not only are you impacting and influencing your own family, I'm looking at maybe a Lydia Valdez, you know, and she's part of your team. I think most of the crew who's watching, you'll understand you can't say enough good things about these 2. And so for those of you who are following them, great. If you're the first time being introduced to the Gonzalez's, it's Temple_Fit Nessa on IG, as well as Temple_Fit_Louie, and Louie. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what started Temple Fit? I'm just kind of curious. And Like literally, when I do these podcasts, typically we'll get 1 or 2 comments, right? And so it's kind of easy to manage. I literally have a scroll of comments going through here. So don't let it distract you because it's distracting me. I absolutely love where you're going. I want to hear the genesis of really how Temple Fit started and really how that's been such a staple in South Texas because everybody knows about you guys. So how did that start?
So as mentioned, I went to show within 6 months, and during the end of my fast, God spoke that name to me, and I told my husband about it. I said, like God's telling me like Temple Fit, like I'm gonna, have a gym, Temple Fit. And I remember God giving me a vision about it, and we were just baby Christians. We just had given our lives to God, and I'm hearing things, and I'm telling him like I'm having visions, and we're new to all this. We're not understanding everything that's happening. So I literally started in my backyard. We had this large empty patio. And I told my husband, like, I think I want to start training people, and help women do what I'm doing. So he went off and got me my first set of equipment. The one thing about Luis is literally like I can tell him something and he will move on it so quickly. And he went and he ordered me, just a little dumbbell set, and he ordered me one pulley machine and a bar. Mm-hmm. And I just had a bunch of plyo stuff, like a kettlebell and a ball, a Bosu ball, and it was literally just hit from my backyard. And then so down here it rarely gets cold, but whenever it did get cold, we'd move everything into the garage. And because I had clients who were like 68 years old, 72 years old with hip replacements, that were coming to see me at my house, and I'd be like, baby, we got to move it inside because I have these elderly clients who have hip replacements and the cold's going to bother them. And I'd put a heater for them, and we'd go to the garage. And then from there, I started renting a space out from someone here in the valley. His name is actually Louis with a shack. I started renting a space from him, and he allowed me to train my clients from his gym, paying ahead there for them to be there. And then one day I told my husband, God spoke to my heart and told me that it's time to like open my own place. And, he was like, like, I don't know, we didn't like, you could say it was fear. So I remember that day, it was a Thursday, we went to church, and Pastor Eli, which is our pastor now still, he spoke about a leap of faith. And then, he just said, God's speaking to you right now, like fear's not of him. It's time for you to trust him and take that leap of faith. And I turned around and I looked at him and I'm like, that's it, dude. Like, this is it. Like, God's speaking. So we took the word, we claimed it, and literally, Matt, within 2 weeks, my husband found all the equipment, everything on this side. He found this place that had not been rented for I don't know how many years, babe.
I think a year.
And it was just sitting here. It was just white floor, white walls. And within 2 weeks, Luis and I found equipment and transformed this place. We painted it, we fixed it with my parents, and put in all the flooring. Like he and I, and whatever my parents could help with, we in 2 weeks. Yeah. Permits got approved. I mean, everything just got approved like this. I mean, it just happened so fast. When it's God-given, he's just going to make everything, go through. And that was the beginning of Temple Fit. We opened in this spot 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And we just did the annex almost a year ago. So that is how Temple Fit started. In the middle of COVID, right? In the middle of COVID.
Yes. Yes.
That's how Temple Fit started. We went from our backyard and God just took us from there. He gave us a word, he spoke into our hearts, and we trusted him. And that act of obedience, of faith continues to give fruit today. Praise God.
The way that you said that, and the way that you packaged that, and I'm going to get to something that you said probably about a minute and a half ago too, because I want to remember that too. And Louis, that question is for you. When we think about trying to actively resist because we're not sure or we're uncertain about something, and things just seem to flow and they seem to all fall into place in the right time, you kind of know that's the right path. And when you run into that road bump or that speed bump, you're like, oh, okay, well, it's still supposed to be there. We just got to get past it. And I'm sure not everything went perfectly smooth, but you grew something very quickly and scaled it quickly to a point where very few people could do that. Now, you said when it got cold. I'm kind of curious for our Toronto friends, because we have Canadians watching right now. What's cold in South Texas? Is that like
Oh,
60 degrees,
yeah,
55 degrees? What are we
right.
looking at?
65 for sure. 65
I
is
mean,
cold.
there's times when it's cold here that it'll drop to the 40s, or 50s. That's cold for us. We're not used to 60s cold. You'll get us with fur boots and some scarves.
Well, I have to say that it's funny because in Houston, we're about 6.5 hours away from each other. And when we do go down to McAllen and Far and Harlingen and South Padre, we're like, yeah, it's going to be hot. And even in December, when we go down there for Christmas, sometimes it's like, yeah, I mean, we're still wearing short sleeves and shorts. So, I mean, they just don't understand that. However, Mr. Gonzalez, this question is for you.
Mhm.
When you first started competing, we saw that picture where you're like, oh man, I look so much better today, which we know you do.
Mhm.
Did you ever think you were going to turn pro? Is that something that you actively wanted to pursue? Or is that something that really was kind of a byproduct for just doing what you needed to do and doing what you wanted to do and ended up being a bonus for you? I'm kind of curious your thoughts.
I mean, going pro was never an intention for me. I mean, the goal was for my wife to go pro, but and eventually she did. And but for me, it was just just extra for me. It wasn't my ultimate goal to go pro. It wasn't. I'm blessed that it happened. Awesome, you know what I mean. But you know what I mean. It's like I tell people, as long as you make it through a prep and you hit that stage, you've already won. You've already conquered a goal that's so hard to do for so many people, and a lot of people try it and then they don't even end up doing it. You know what I mean? So, because I would talk to a lot of athletes, well, I didn't get my placing that I wanted. Oh, I didn't get the placing I wanted. I should have placed better. I'll be like, man, you know what? At the end of the day, it's out of your control. It's all in the judge's perspective. I mean, all you can do is just go in the best that you can and finish your prep. So just go out there with a smile and do it.
Yeah.
Do it with joy, man. I mean, because that's what you work for. So don't let someone's opinion get in the way of your happiness. You know what I mean? Because we
You made
we
it.
as athletes work so hard to get there. So if you want to be a pro, I mean, all doors are open. I mean, all you got to do is just work hard.
Keep showing up.
Uh huh.
And that's where I want to lead into this next little segment. We've seen a lot in this industry. We've seen athletes come and go. We've seen athletes stay. We've seen even transformation, inspiration, miraculous transformations, right? And I'm thinking about how we're looking at the sport now. And, there are different organizations out there. There are different levels, when it comes to bodybuilders who are just, monster, mass monsters, right? And we think about the Olympia coming up. Now, USA's is going on right now in Las Vegas. And, we have a lot of good friends competing out there. And they're just going for exactly what we talked about. I'm kind of curious, how or what are you seeing? Um, what's the right way to do this in a healthy way? Because I know that there are, like, for older gentlemen and ladies, it takes them a little longer to develop that muscle mass and that density. They don't want to crash diet. They don't want to be completely depleted, when they're walking on stage. They want to look healthy and they want to feel healthy, but they also want the edge. So what are you kind of seeing when it comes to how athletes are prepping? Are they taking a little bit longer these days on a prep, maybe a 16 to 20 week prep instead of a 12 to 16? Or are they rushing it?
In my opinion, I think they're rushing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they want to go pro, they want to be up on stage, and
Or
you
not
know,
taking enough needed breaks. Like, for
yeah,
example, I'm gonna say, like, myself, when I first started with SPI, like, I became so hungry to grow into a certain division because I did not have the look yet. I didn't have the muscle development. So I kept working, and not having a true off season. And what I really did was burn myself out. I never gave myself enough rest time to, I was growing and developing, but my body needed a rest. I finally took a year off this past year, like a complete year off. It doesn't mean I didn't lift. It just means I wasn't killing myself show after show, depleting myself, which, as you know, is really crucial and hard on the body. And if I could do it all over again, That is one thing that I would definitely do. Take more time to grow. A lot of people don't understand that growing requires an off season and a surplus of food and cutting the cardio. You've got to do it the right way if you want to grow, especially if you're a natural athlete or you're not on big time supplements. It's going to take food to grow, you know, and if you're jumping show to show to show to show, well, you're not allowing your body the time to have that development. This is the longest prep I've ever done. I've been on prep since December, the week of Christmas. I remember saying, I don't want to enjoy Christmas. I'm ready. Like, let's just go. So I've been on prep. This is the longest prep I've done to go down and lower my body fat in a healthy manner. Because when I got off of my last prep, after being on prep for so long, I just was really sick. I was terribly sick. And, you know, I told my husband, I don't want to go through that again. My hormones went whack. Everything went crazy. My body is like, whoa, like, you're not going to prep anymore. What are you doing? Like, what is this? You know, are you actually chilling? Like, we're not used to this. So my body just went crazy. So after I got back to a healthy spot, I said, I'm willing to work twice as hard, just to make sure that I do this in a healthy manner. And I have. I thank God that, you know, my coach, Jay, with Team Cobra, he's been really great and supportive about hearing what I want and what I want for my body, what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. And he's just been super supportive on helping me reach my goal in a good manner. And I mean, I would say take the longer prep. Take the longer prep.
Definitely. Now, this is going to be a hot seat truth question for both of you. So, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm going to put you on the hot seat first. How many preps have you been through?
Two.
And be honest with me. Okay, 3. We'll just say 3. How many times in those 3 preps did you want to quit and give up? Be honest.
None.
You never wanted to give up or quit?
No, because honestly, I didn't, and I'm not saying it just because I'm on here, but you know, the thing about me, if I say I'm gonna do something, then I'll do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long it'll take. You know what I mean? Like, if I say I'm gonna do something and I want to complete a goal and I want to achieve it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? It's just like with my bachelor's degree. I wanted to get my bachelor's degree to, you know, for my mom and for my family. You know, it took me 10 years.
But
You
he never
know, but I
stopped.
did it. You know what I mean? I never stopped. So, you know, once I get my mindset on something that I'm gonna do, I'll do it.
We got the male perspective, ladies and gentlemen.
That doesn't mean that it wasn't hard.
Yes.
It wasn't hard. It was hard.
No. That I love the truth there, because I also feel the exact same way. There were times where I got up and thought, should I do my cardio? And always came back to yes. So,
Yeah.
Vanessa, be honest here. You've been through
Very,
a few preps yourself.
uh,
How
I,
many times did you want to quit?
the first 7 shows were great. After that, it was like, what am I trying to prove? Especially this prep. I want to say this prep and the prep before. Like, okay, I had already, so I got my pro card, right? I worked so hard for that. I promised myself, once you get your pro card, you're gonna rest, you know, and I'm talking about 2 years rest, like really rest and just grow, gather yourself together, come back and do it. Well, yeah, no, I didn't do that. You know, I went straight into that next pro show and my body didn't respond the same. My body held on to water. I mean, it was my pro debut and it was the worst ever. Like, my body just didn't respond and I wanted to quit. I'm not lying. Every day. I was not in it. My mind was not in it. It was so hard. I'm like, why am I doing this? What am I trying to prove? Like, I just did, you know, so many years straight. Why am I doing this to myself? You know, and this prep, because it's the longest prep that I've done, there's just times where I would just sit on the toilet at 3 in the morning, because I get up at 3 in the morning. You know, just sit there and be like, what am I doing? Why? You've got nothing to prove. Like, you've done 8 shows, Vanessa. Why are you doing this? What do you have to prove, you know? But I'll tell you what, I thought it a lot of times. I might have even cried a couple of times. I walked in the kitchen and said, I'm done. But I still walk out that door and I still execute and I still do what has to be done. Because the thought crosses my mind, but the ambition, the person that I am inside would never willingly quit. Now, if God were to sit me down, which he has tried a couple of times, that would be different. But the thought definitely crossed my mind. This prep, it's the longest, most strenuous prep I've ever had. I mean, this prep was such a healthy prep that I was hitting way different PRs, like lifting like a madman. I was just blown away, like, oh my gosh, where did all this strength come from? But it was the amount of food that I was eating, and but my body was just not, I was tired.
Well,
But
well, those are two very different answers, yet there's not a right or a wrong answer in there. It's
Yeah.
just how we go about things personally. And I'm kind of curious, both of your takes on this. We never quit or give up, but we also have human emotion where we do break down and we do feel sad about things. We get frustrated, we get disappointed, especially when we start looking at ourselves in the mirror and it's not what we think, all the work that we're putting in is actually not what's showing on the other side of this, right? And so I'm kind of curious. We're looked at as, why do you take your food everywhere? Why don't you eat what we eat? An apple won't hurt you. That Reese's Pieces, which I'm a Reese's fan, if you haven't figured that out, by the way. Yeah, I think I've done that on a couple of podcasts. We're going to have a lot of those here soon.
Yeah.
I can't wait. How would you say this is affecting your kids in a very positive way? Because I know all three of my kids last year did kids fitness in the show. And to me, that was like that monumental moment where I didn't care about anything else but watching them perform in front of like 500 people and having the confidence to execute a routine on something that they worked for in practice. So how would you feel your kids are responding? Because you have 23, and 13. I mean, you've got a pretty wide age range. I'm kind of curious as far as how they've kind of taken to mom and dad.
Well, they understand, you know what I mean? Like our son, he's 9 years old, and I'll walk around the house, or I'll be warming up my food and be like, "What you eating, Dad? Protein?" So he understands the concept and what we have to do. Or like, if I tell him, you know what, I tell my wife like, "Hey, I'll be back. I gotta go to the gym." She'll be in the room, and I'll be walking out the living room. My dad, I'll be like, "Hey, I'll be back, Papa." You know what I mean? Where are you going, Dad? To the gym? I was like, "Yeah, I got to go build some muscle." He's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So
You
they
see,
understand, and
they have a great
they're
concept of
supportive.
it. They're very supportive, and I believe we do influence them greatly. Like I said, I catch Alyssa is constantly like, are you gonna wake me up to go do cardio with you? Or she'll order grilled. Even Adric, like recently, he's doing the 21-day challenge. He's 9 years old. He's doing a 21-day challenge, and he's doing boot camp with Daddy during summer. He's on his second month of boot camp.
Yeah.
And he'll walk around and he'll be like flexing and, can you see my abs?
Yeah.
And then like I mentioned, we have our 23-year-old who not only transformed her whole life, but she's now an actual coach herself. So our kids are definitely benefiting from the lifestyle that we're living. We are their example first. They're learning it from us, and the choices that I see them making for themselves when they're grabbing a snack or when they're choosing when we go out to eat. I do see us rubbing off on them in a positive, influential way, and their health is important. I know at first when the summer first started, Alyssa and Adric were both like, don't even think about it. We're not working out. And I said, listen, in this home, we are a God family and we are a faith family and we are a fitness family. So you're not going to sit around all day doing nothing and not being active and not taking care of your body. God gave you that body. We're going to take care of it 1 hour, 1 hour a day, and it's, parents can set different rules for their kids. Well, working out for our kids 1 hour a day, that's a rule. Like you have to get up off your feet and do something. It's essential to their body.
Mm-hmm.
Well, knowing that at an early age, with him being 9, I think a lot of times most 9-year-olds are more interested in video games and they're more interested in, just not doing the things that they really don't know about. So, Lou, when you said, hey, protein, Dad, they know what protein is. When did we find out about protein? In our 20s? We were never taught this as teenagers. We're like, 30. Man.
I learned 5 years ago. Okay, just being 5 years ago. So I'm real late to this game.
Well, we were all late to the game because we didn't understand the power of food is used as medicine and, being able to nourish our bodies correctly. And there are so many things out there that are processed that are just a quick fix or convenient to where when we go, And I've been to all those restaurants down there, and I got to say, some of them taste amazing. But your palate changes when you get on prep, right? When you become part of this group, you say, I don't eat for taste anymore. I'm not looking for all of the, fried food. I actually prefer grilled or baked, and I want to prepare it myself because I know what's in it and I know what it's going to do for me, not to me. And
Mhm.
so I'm kind of curious, because I know that we're kind of coming to a close here, and I want to ask a couple of just follow up and final questions. If you were to say 2 years from today, we're looking at July 29th, 2024, 2025, 2, 3 years from now, what is it that you want people to really know you for? Because obviously you lead first, and then also you serve at the same time, which leadership and servant leadership and unconditional servant leadership is, really that package that I think is the reason why you've been incredibly successful in influencing people. What do you want people to know about specifically Temple Fit or the Gonzalez family?
As far as like what I want them to know about us is that the doors here are always open, not only to our athletes, but any athlete that needs help, whether it be with nutrition, with training, or their prayer life. We are a faith fitness ministry, so it's really important for me that that be known, that we are not just a place where you can get fit physically, but we're here for you spiritually as well. And we're here for married couples to minister to them and be there for them and help them, guide them if they have children, that are going through things or struggling. We're here for them as well. We just extend ourselves further than just training.
So
That's
mentorship, leadership.
Mhm.
Got it. Anything to add to that? Because I want to bring up this next comment that came up. Robert Chapa said, I love seeing what God is doing in their family. Keep taking leaps of faith.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
What would your leap of faith be now, knowing where you're at? What would be that next level for you?
For regarding Temple Fit.
Just in general, family. It could be Temple Fit. It could just be lifestyle. I mean, really, where do you take your leap of faith? You've taken
Like
a big one to get the gym. Now what's next?
like for me, I just want to dive in more to the things of God and just fully surrender more to let Him work and move us in the way He wants. He's placed a vision in my heart for Temple Fit growth, and I would like to take a. I'm a little bit more always involved in everything. I like to just take a seat back and let Luis move more and open up all these other Temple Fits, these faith fitness ministries without it losing its integrity. God has spoken that over my heart, where you walk in and faith music is playing and it's, you're getting a message here and it's feeding you here and you're training your body at the same time. And I have faith that we're going to have Temple Fit cross training gyms in Florida, all around the state, the United States of America. It's just something that God has spoken into me. And I really do believe that when God says it's time to go, the harvest is going to go. Right now, we're sowing. We're doing what God is asking us to do, and God's going to make sure that all that sowing has a beautiful harvest. And I'm just looking forward to doing it alongside my family. Like I see how God's preparing my daughter. She's now a certified trainer. My son-in-law is a certified trainer. Our kids are guiding into this. I can see how this will be a faith family fitness truly in all areas, grow that way.
Well, you just nailed it. And, when you said that, Vanessa, it says Temple Fit Cross. Can you cross training? Is that the Instagram? Temple Fit Cross Training? Perfect. I think you're still here, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure. It's funny because all these little hearts and thumbs ups are going up. And Nene, of course, is like, you've never met Nene in person.
I've never met her. Hi, Nene. She's a gorgeous person that I met through my team Cobra. We're teammates, and she's extended her loving kindness towards me. We've chatted on Instagram, and we've given each other, encouragement and support. She's been nothing but kind to me. I'm really, really grateful for her. I'm actually looking forward to meeting her.
And that's what I've heard great things about Team Cobra and Jay Martinez, and just the way that he gives back to his athletes. He supports them. He gets them stage ready if they're competitors, and he has a very large group and still gives you the personal attention to make sure
Yeah,
it's you, not just a division that he's trying to fill.
absolutely.
And I think that's huge. So here's my question. How can people contact you? I know that there are people, do you do online? Do you do all in person? Let's talk about your business as we kind of wrap up. I'd like to know how people can get in contact with you and
So
really
both
connect if that's possible.
Lisa and I offer online training, online meal plans. We also started show prepping. We have a small group training, personal training, complete lifestyle. We can do it online or in person. You can reach us at on Temple Fit, Temple_Fit Nessa, or his is Temple_Fit_Louis. You can also locate us on Facebook, on Google, or Instagram under Temple Fit Cross Training. On Google, you'll find our Google page where there's live testimonies, client reviews, transformations. And then if you go to that page, our phone numbers are on there. You can always give us a call. We're more than welcome to set up a Skype call or a Zoom call with you so that we can answer any questions that you all might have, and we can help guide you on whatever route or journey you're trying to take. We'll tell you what works best for you, and what direction we think you should go. We'll have that personal conversation and help guide you.
Absolutely love that. And here's my final question to the both of you. Vanessa, we started with you. So Louis, let's see what we got here. What are you most excited about in your life right now? If you were to say, it could be anything in bodybuilding, it could be anything in family, it could be an Astros game, it could be, I don't know, you're going out to eat somewhere special and getting a big fat steak, I don't know. But what are you looking forward to right now in your life?
Go. He asked you first.
Oh, no, you.
Oh, me?
I asked you first. Yeah.
Me? Oh my goodness. Oh my
Put him on the
goodness.
spot.
Let me see. Yeah, well, I mean, we're definitely going on vacation next week, so I'm looking forward to that. Spend some time. I'm excited for my wife that she's going to be competing, the next weekend on Saturday, and very excited for her because she's done such a great job, and she's really, really, really pushed through it and put in a lot of hard work. And it's been hard for her, but you know what? She's been getting through it, and I just can't wait to see her shine on that stage and just show off all this hard work. I think honestly, right now, she's depleted, but she's looking really good. But as soon as those cards kick in, I think she's gonna look amazing because she's made a lot of stride and a lot of changes, and I see it as like a different person. So I'm excited for that, and excited for Florida. You know what I mean? Spend time with the family, go down to the beaches, and just relax. Have enjoy some workouts out there, and eat some food, and then just enjoy the family.
How can I not feel good about myself when he hypes me up?
I mean, think about it. He could have said anything, but he said wife first. And so, yeah, you can thank me later on that, by the way. Just give me a high five or something. But that's, I mean, to me, a lot of times we look at material things, and none of that was material. It was experiential, meaning being in Florida, and it's watching the family succeed at the highest level for what they worked hard for. So, by the way, I give you an A+ for that answer. Lydia does too. Great answer. Now, Vanessa, you don't have to reciprocate. However, I have a feeling you might. So I'm not setting you up for success either or anything. What are you most excited about? I'm kind of curious in your take.
I am excited to go on vacation with my family. We've planned this. The kids have been waiting. I'm excited to go on vacation with them and enjoy it sober for the first time. It's our first time on vacation. We both gave up drinking, and we're both still going to be on show prep. So it's going to be a whole different dynamic. So although I'm going on vacation, we're still both on show prep, and we'll still be working towards our next stage that we're going to be getting on. And I'm just excited to see Luis at his next stop because he has put on some massive gains. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, he's lean right now, like compared to how he was a few weeks back. And I'm just like, you still look like a monster. He's huge. He's put on so much mass, and I'm just excited to watch him chisel down and watch him perform. Like, he's excited for it, and I'm just ready for us to enjoy this next road to stage together.
Well, I can't thank both of you enough. You know, it's great to have the kind of relationship where we can talk about things outside of fitness and still have that bond and that commonality as far as being in faith together and having our walks. Even though we're walking separate paths, we both have that very same vision of what we want our family to be about. And, you know, I don't want to keep you too long because I know that you are in prep and you're like, okay, it's Friday night. I'm ready to go. I want to lay down. I want to put the feet up, kick back a little bit. I'm just really wishing you all the best as far as however these next 6 weeks pan out and these 13 weeks. You know, we're going to have those things that hit us. We're going to have our ups and downs. We're also going to have our victories to where I would say that they're worth celebrating and we're worth embracing our challenges because those end up being bigger victories later. So I will say this because there was a last minute comment. Saray said, had the pleasure to know both are great inspirations, great coaches, great trainers, and beyond blessed to have trained with them. So as I look at your team, they obviously adore you, they admire, they respect what you've built, but more importantly, they listen to what you say because you are a walking example of exactly what you preach. And I have to say, it's just great to be able to have this time with y'all. Yep, we say y'all in Texas. So for those of you who are not in Texas, sorry. We've got some Europeans watching too, so they're trying to translate this in their language. It's kind of neat. I'm seeing it in the back end. So that's why I keep looking at this screen and this screen. So I just want to thank both of you and obviously wishing you the best, Vanessa, next week. And we're going to get a chance to connect soon. But yeah, any other shout outs before we go? You want to shout out the family? I know they're watching.
Baby?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to our clients for all the support, love and support. You know what I mean?
That is our family, honestly.
That is our family.
We
you know,
spend our
they
majority
support
of our
us
time with them. Every time we're getting
so
ready to
much.
show, they are so amazing and understanding. We love you guys. Keep up the great work. Keep showing up. Thank you for trusting Coach Luis and I with your all's journey. We are grateful for you all. Temple Fit does not run or exist without you guys. So we love you guys. And we just pray that we continue to make you guys proud and be good coaches, mentors in every area for you all. And to our family at home, we love you guys. Mom and Dad, I know you're watching.
Oh, I love it. And so for those of you who just joined us midway through or just right now, the replay is up and will be up on our YouTube Friday Fitcast page. It's a free subscription. You can go watch any of the 60 episodes. As soon as we're done here with the live stream, it will be automatically posted. So if you want to go back and review any of the show, or if you want to go back and say, how do I contact Temple Fit? I'm kind of interested. I want to get involved with the family. I love what they stand for. That's the way to do it. And so I would just say, I want to thank both of you. The best to both of you as well, and very much looking forward. So next week, we will be 5:30, same time, same place. We will have Dr. John. We are having a Dr. MD coming on next week, Friday at 5:30. And I know that you will be in check-ins, Vanessa. And I just want to say thank all of you for tuning in. We will look forward to seeing you 5:30 p.m. Central, same time, same place.